Alrighty. Oh, hi, Smogs. How's your sex life? That'd be a great collab, by the way. Wrestling Jesus and I talk about trolling to a whole new level. Anyways, so tonight you had a pay-per-view of the Elimination Chamber, and as expected, this show was not good, in my personal opinion. I thought this show was pretty dull. There were some moments that I'll get to before anyone keyboard warriors go flame on, as Slug Daddy would say, that's my man, what's all right. Remember, guys, this is an opinion. There are no right and wrong answers, okay? Unless it involves me. Kidding. I'm kidding. Before you troll to death, I'm kidding, okay? So we go on to the pre-show, where a total probably of 4 people saw this match. The Cruiserweight title, Akira Tozawa versus Buddy Murphy. Now, I personally didn't see this. I don't watch the pre-show, especially if it involved the Cruiserweights. I think the Cruiserweights are really dull and are just irrelevant. But supposedly, people thought this was like match of the night. I don't know. Again, I didn't see it. I can't say yes, I can't say no. Supposedly it was match of the night. Take that as it is. And Buddy Murphy, however, retained. I saw someone post on Twitter, though, that they thought that Buddy Murphy deserves to be WWE champion one day. And I was laughing my ass off because I was like, really? Buddy freaking Murphy? Mr. Alexa Bliss should be freaking WWE champion. At least it'd be somewhat more relevant than being Law, Lexi's husband. But needless to say, I think Lane Storm even mentioned it on Twitter that the Cruiserweight champion is actually looks more timid. He didn't say more intimidating, but he said bigger, like in size. That's what she said. Than Daniel Bryan and the WWE champion, and I was like, that's pretty freaking sound. In that case, maybe if we can inject something called charisma into Buddy Murphy, I might jump on this bandwagon for kicks and giggles. Anyways, then we go on to the main show. We got the Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Women's Tag Team title, player. Oh god, that's irrelevant. This was a mess. Naomi and Carmella. I'll get to that. Naomi and Carmella versus Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose versus Tamina and Nia Jax versus Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan versus Sasha Banks versus Bayley versus the Iconics. My god. Anyways, the first 2 teams to start the match were Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose, along with Sasha Banks and Bayley. And it was really weird because I thought Mandy and Sonya did pretty well. Sasha was being Sasha, and Bayley was doing decent. You know, give her credit, she was doing decent. And out came, I believe it was the Right Squad that came out next. And then after that was, I'm trying to remember correctly, and then it was like the Iconics, and then came, as I call them, the Samoan Cousins, and then, you know, the rest of the teams followed through. And, you know, you had the Iconics trying to pin, like, there was one spot where all the female tag teams are down, and you have, like, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce try to cover the other competitors, and they kept, like, kicking out, and kind of a cheap way to do it. But they did eliminate the team of Carmella and Naomi. And the funny thing was, not so much that the first team jobbed out, which it seems like WWE is going to be punishing more Carmella than Corey Graves. That's another thing, too. Corey Graves was mostly dead silent for this match. Like, he was quiet compared to usual. Like, he said a few things here and there, but he was mostly, you know, just Michael Cole and Renee Young. And I think it was Beth Phoenix, too. But what interesting is that Renee Young basically threw some shade at Corey Graves because the crowd's chanting at Carmella, Corey Graves, Corey Graves, Corey Graves. And then right at that time, Renee goes over and goes, yeah, the world champion, yeah, no problem, the world champion of love. And I was like, yo. I don't know if Ambrose is like, I don't give a fuck right now, his attitude, you know, moved on to her type of deal. Like, she picked up on that, but that was... I've talked nothing but shit about Renee Young on commentary because she's been god-awful, but I'll give her credit where credit's due. That was a good line. So yeah, it seems like Carmella's going to be taking most, if not the whole heat for this whole thing, which she deserves, obviously, some, to say the very least, but it should be equal. It should be 50-50. But Yeah, I'm sure Vince is proud of Corey Graves' adultery. But anyways, back to this match. This match itself, again, it was kind of messy, again, for the most part. There was one cool spot. Nia Jax went through the pod. That was actually pretty cool. But of course, fans are going to say that she sucks. Even though for 2 straight pay-per-views, and I'm great, I'm not saying, oh, Nia, all hail Nia Jax. Hell no. But she's had 2 freaking pretty cool spots in back-to-back pay-per-views. The Rumble, she, ate up all those finishers by Mysterio, Ziggler, Orton, and then here she gets killed through the freaking pod. So she's actually doing stuff. Speaking of killing, someone check if freaking Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan have a pulse after this match, because Tamina and Nia just slaughtered them. And then they got eliminated, and then it was finally to the final 2. So yeah, the first 2 teams that started off, Sonya and Mandy, along with Sasha and Bayley, are the ones to finish the match. They started it and then they're finishing it, whatever. Bayley was knocked out the whole time, so it was basically just Sasha Banks versus Sonya and Mandy. And Mandy was, on the offense, whatever. And next thing you know, Sasha gets DeVille in the bank statement, and then makes DeVille tap out. So basically, Sasha Banks won it for her whole team. Basically, it was a handicap match the final few minutes. And I know Smark's going to be like, she pulled in a great effort. If this was fucking Roman Reigns from last year, you all would be losing your fucking mind saying, oh, just get up down the thumb with the bullshit. But because it's, oh, hail, Sasha Bocce Banks, it's perfectly fine. Smart's logic. I'll get to that later. But speaking of Sasha Banks, she was celebrating with Bayley. Fine, whatever. They won the new relevant tag team titles that aren't going to be shown as serious, and they're not going to be booked well because, fuck, this company can't even book the Raw or the SmackDown, the men's tag team division well. Did you see the new tag team champions, the Revival, on this show? No, you did not. Hell, you didn't even see. Is Asuka alive, by the way? Speaking of women, that woman has not been on, scene since the Rumble. I think they ditched her in Phoenix. So I'm going to check if she's okay. I'm not a fan of hers, but, I care about people who seem to be nice, okay? Anyways, after the match was over, Sasha's with there with Bayley, and she's weeping. She's crying, and it's like, what the fuck? I don't know what's the only one that said this, but what is up with this woman every single time she wins a championship? She has to freaking cry. She's supposed to be a boss. Bosses don't cry. Especially when it comes to them winning. Just saying. But whatever. I can't wait till them 2 turn heel on each other in 2 months from now. And they get in a feud that no one's going to give a shit about. Anyways, back to this. We're not done with tag team, player. We got the SmackDown Tag Team title match between the Usos versus Shane McMahon and The Miz. Right when The Miz came out, he came up with his lovely wife, Maurice. And he said he was going to dedicate this match to his wife, his daughter, Monroe Sky, and he also mentioned that Maurice is pregnant with their 2nd child, and I'm going, oh my god, didn't she just have a kid 5 months ago? And time flies by, And I still think it's funny, by the way, that the Miz and Maurice are expecting baby number 2 before Bryan and Brie are, but that's for another story. Needless to say, congratulations to them. No matter what happened in this match, the Miz is a winner. I mean, he's bringing another person in this world type of deal. So, anyways, back to this match. Not a bad match, pretty solid between these two. Say what you want about Shane McMahon being near 50 and shit, he could still work well better than half this freaking roster. All right, that's just putting it plain and simple. I know that sounds sad. The freaking boss's son at 50 something years old is outshining most of the stars on this wrestling program. So it was a pretty good matchup. Jimmy got the victory on The Miz, and the winner and new tag team champions, the Usos. And so much for that backstage heat, huh? So much for Jimmy Uso got arrested, and Naomi was driving on the other side of the road or some bullshit. Or I don't know, some weird story. Yeah, he's tag team champions. Now, supposedly the Usos haven't signed a new contract, so I guess this is WWE going don't even think about AEW, goddammit, or something, I don't know. But needless to say, Usos, I think they said a 6-time tag team champ. Jesus. Alright, pretty soon it's going to be like 9. I'm going to be like, enough. But anywho, it was a good solid match. I'm not going to crap on it. Next we had, oh my god, a 2-on-1 handicap match for the WWE Intercontinental title. Finn Balor versus Lio Rush and Bobby Lashley. I'll be son of a bitch. Once I knew they put Lio, I thought this was just originally Bobby Lashley versus Finn Balor, and then I heard it was a handicap match and they put Lio Rush. I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna give the belt to Balor, isn't it? So the freaking Bobby Lashley doesn't have to eat the pin. That's exactly what happened here. The fact that you have little twink like Finn Balor still take the belt, to take a title off of Bobby Lashley is just like, wow. I know people were like, oh, of course they did this on a Black History Month. I'm not even just thinking because it's Black History Month. I'm just thinking because it's freaking Bobby Lashley, the guy who looks like he could snap Finn Balor like a freaking pretzel, somehow loses to Finn Balor. I know it's Lio Rush ate the pin, blah, blah, blah. Lio Rush looks like he's freaking, I don't know, 7th grade. But needless to say, whatever. At least he'll take Finn Balor to the main event. So, I don't actually know if Brock Lesnar's still not appearing on television, so he might main event. Anywho, you had this little thing come out with, they recapped a Raw about Vince suspending Becky Lynch, and apparently Becky Lynch re-injured herself at a live event on Saturday night and was attacked by Charlotte Flair. And I guess Charlotte Flair was... and they hasn't shown Asuka here. I was like, oh yeah, they showed Asuka. They still haven't shown Asuka on like non-recap videos, alright? That still counts, alright? I don't care what you say. But needless to say, it was time for the women's title match on the Raw side. You had Charlotte Flair did come out, and then you had Ruby Riott versus Ronda Rousey for the Raw women's title match. This match was short and sweet. Ronda Rousey came out looking like Sonya Blade. For those who don't know, she is the voice of Sonya Blade in the new Mortal Kombat 11 game that comes out, I believe, in like a month or two. That game's coming up within soon, I believe. And I think in April? I think it comes out in April. But I could be wrong. If I am, I apologize. Anyways, this match, again, short and sweet. I mean, Ruby Riott, she's not a bad worker. This match was just short. Again, it was like 3 minutes. Ronda Rousey wins after making her tap out with the armbar. She stares down Charlotte. And out comes Becky Lynch from the crowd, the suspended Becky Lynch walking in crutches. She starts getting into a brawl with Charlotte and Ronda. And here was at the point where I started to see hypocrisy. I started seeing, oh yeah, Becky's looking like a badass, man. Woo. You guys remember when John Cena was like fired? Was he fired or suspended? I forget. He was either fired or suspended by like the Nexus or whatever back in like 2010. And he came back the very next night. This was like the same thing, basically. And then freaking Becky Lynch grabs she grabs her crotch. The crutch that she has and starts beating on freaking Ronda Rousey's head and busts her open with it. Now, granted, if there was any female that could look like a badass bleeding on the headshot, it's probably Ronda Rousey. But that's a little careless, to say the least. Ronda got a freaking concussion from that. So, but of course, it's perfectly fine. It's Becky Lynch. And listen, I'm a fan of Becky Lynch, so it's not like, oh, I'm bad-mouthing. Honestly, I'm a fan of all 3 of these ladies, Ronda, Charlotte, and Becky. So there's no biased opinion here. But the fact of the matter is that she did something kind of reckless to Ronda, and it's magically okay. But you're all going to say how, like, oh, you're still going to show, like, montages of freaking Nia Jax beating the hell out of Becky Lynch and nearly knocking her out. But all I'm saying is, don't be biased. Call a spade a spade. Right? Even if you're not a fan of them, call a spade a spade. Simple as that. But yeah, this obviously sets up more so of a most likely triple threat match at Mania between the 3 ladies for the Raw Women's title. He also advertised, I believe, Charlotte versus Ronda for tomorrow night. Anyways, You had a no DQ match between Baron Corbin and Braun Strowman. I never want to hear anyone try to take Braun Strowman seriously again. The ship has sailed for Braun Strowman. I remember how people were like, "Oh, I could take Bray Wyatt seriously." No, and no WWE, they'll give Braun Strowman the belt like 2 or 3 years from now, and no one's gonna care because they've had like a year, if not a little over a year, to try to make Braun Strowman be this big monster guy. And listen, all he does is scream and just like kills people. Whatever. I know it's one dimensional, but you know what? He looks like a killer compared to most of these vanilla midgets that you call quote unquote stars in the company. Needless to say, he loses to freaking Baron Corbin in a no disqualification match because, lol, he's stupid and now came through McIntyre to help him. Don't ask me where the hell freaking like Kurt Angle was. I don't know. Maybe Kurt Angle was chilling with his family in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, for all I know. I don't know. But yeah, Corbin beats freaking Braun Strowman on pay-per-view. And other people are gonna say, "Well, Chris, it was no disqualification match. He had to bring in Bobby Lashley and all of them." He still looks like a freaking idiot, and I cannot take him seriously. I thought he was like not taken seriously last year when him and a freaking 10-year-old, 11-year-old kid became tag team champions at freaking WrestleMania. This is the nail in the coffin. He's done. Anyways, now we move on to our main. Oh, by the way, before the main event happened, this was really weird. Lacey Evans comes out for like 5 seconds, and Lacey Evans, she's not a bad-looking woman. She comes out and then leaves. I'm like, okay, the point was that. Hey guys, I haven't been on television since the Rumble. I'm still here. I don't know. Anyways, main event, Elimination Chamber match for the WWE title. You had Kofi Kingston, who was a late replacement, obviously, for the injured Mustafa Ali, versus Jeff Hardy, versus Randy Orton, versus AJ Styles, versus Samoa Joe, versus Captain freaking Planet, Daniel Bryan. And the fact that they showed the title and they showed, like, the design where it's like, oh, we're going to show you the title. Woo. They had the recycle bin and they showed Earth. I was like, oh my God, they're actually going full out with this. I'll give him credit. He's like, at this point, you might as well go full stupid with this. They're already there. So you started off the match with, oh God, who was it? Was it Kofi Kingston and Jeff Hardy, I believe? And then out came Randy Orton, out came AJ Styles, and then it came out Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe was the first one eliminated because lol. Anyways, this was actually a pretty solid match. Not bad. Not a bad match. And Joe was eliminated, and then I believe, Joe was eliminated by Styles, and then Styles eliminated Jeff Hardy. Orton, I believe, eliminated Styles, and then Styles was eliminated by Kofi Kingston, which was, by the way, Randy Orton hit the sloppiest / worst RKO I've ever seen in my life. Like, if Kofi Kingston could ever have justice from 10 years ago saying fucking stupid, he could have said it right here and here, because freaking Orton just botched this like there's no fucking tomorrow, and he actually pinned Randy Orton. Yes, Kofi Kingston freaking pinned Randy Orton, and I'm like, holy shit. A decade worth of freaking story. In a crazy ass way. 10 years later, he got his vengeance. He got his revenge. So finally we had the final two between Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan. And everyone was like, oh no, this is like that time when Daniel Bryan was the world champion and he was facing Santino out of all. Santino freaking Morella. And people were like, oh, Santino has a shot of winning it and everything. And they were kind of in that same situation here. It was a good outing for Kofi Kingston, and there was few near falls, but Bryan got the victory after hitting the running knee to the face to Kofi Kingston. 1, 2, 3. Bryan winner and retains the WWE Championship with his hemp belt, Daniel frickin' Bryan. So, this was more so of kind of showcase for Kofi Kingston. I heard on SmackDown from PostWrestling.com, they said that Kofi Kingston put up a pretty good showcase in the gauntlet match. So, Kofi Kingston apparently has been doing really well a little bit in this past week, so props to him. And I know a lot of people are thinking, oh, they should have Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston at WrestleMania for the WWE title. And, I was thinking of over, and I was kind of laughing at that idea, and then I started thinking, oh, wait a minute. Who the hell's a babyface on SmackDown? Mustafa Ali? Hell no. you've beaten it to death with AJ Styles. No. Jeff Hardy. Do you trust Jeff Hardy? I don't mind Jeff Hardy, but do you trust Jeff Hardy? Let's be real, folks. Rey Mysterio at this point of his career, I mean, it's just they're in here baby faces on SmackDown, so they should call me up, guys, because I'm too busy filming movies in Canada. I miss you, Nikki. I love you though. Anyways, listen, if they're trying to set up for Bryan versus Kofi at WrestleMania, YOLO, just do it. You've already had freaking like Jinder Mahal as WWE champion. Now, granted, Vince ain't gonna put his title on freaking an African American guy, which is a shame. It sucks. It's stupid. I don't agree with it whatsoever. But to his goddamn company, who's gonna say no to him? So, whatever. But yeah, Elimination Chamber as a whole, kind of a forgettable show for the most part. Again, there were some good moments on the show. I'm not saying, oh, this show was total trash. Fuck it. Because there were a few good spots, but there were some spots where I was like some parts were either too predictable or there's some parts that was just like, I don't know. It was just, it left a bad taste in your mouth. That's what she said. But it was just, you know what I mean? It's just kind of that weird feeling afterwards. At least that's for me personally. Again, this is opinionated. There's no facts here. I'm not saying or anything. So, anyways, that's it for me, you guys. What you guys think of the Elimination Chamber? I'm out. Hope you all have a good one. Stay safe.